Hey there guys, how's it going? So the time has come to rank all the Star Wars movies. And yes, I've been planning this video for quite a while now because I am a massive Star Wars fanboy and I've rewatched them all on Blu-ray. And I gotta say, I really struggle with this because it's like everyone's different with their lists, and my top 3 and my bottom 3 were set in stone. But my middle, I really struggle with that aspect. And I'm one of those guys who like the prequels. I grew up on the prequels. I'm not one of those fanboys who are like, oh, the prequels ruined Star Wars, they're not Star Wars. Oh. I like the prequels, deal with it, and I'm only counting the mainstream Star Wars movies. I'm not going to talk about those weird Ewok movies or those holiday specials. And I know the Clone Wars movie did get a theatrical release, but at the end of the day, it's just a 4-parter just to advertise the Clone Wars animated series. But let's get started with number 10. And number 10 is Attack of the Clones. And yeah, it was kind of obvious where to put this one on the list. After rewatching it, it still wouldn't make a difference. But I tried so hard to find a certain scene or a certain character that really stands out in the franchise. And I couldn't find anything. And there are a few exceptions, of course, but it could have really been executed way better. And there's certain elements and certain aspects that were just handled way better in like things like the novels or the Clone Wars animated series. And some of the dialogue and the acting is just dreadful to watch. And I'm not going to say any names, Christensen, but really, it's not a terrible movie. It just doesn't hit that high bar what Star Wars movies should be. At the end of the day, it had great ideas just executed poorly. And number 9 is The Phantom Menace. Now, I really like The Phantom Menace. It's one of those films I could just play on any day of the week just for background noise or just to be entertained. I've seen this like hundreds of times. I saw it twice back in 1999. I had this on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. I saw it in IMAX back in 2012. There's some stuff in The Phantom Menace that I just adore, like Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, the pod racing. Darth Maul was a great villain with the Duel of Fate soundtrack, and the lightsaber battle is one of the greatest lightsaber battles in the Star Wars franchise. But unfortunately, just like Attack of the Clones, it doesn't hit that high bar of storytelling and character tropes. Instead, we got Jar Jar Binks and Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker, which was such a misfire. CGI of the film was at its peak at the time, and the film is about 20 years old now, and it still holds up in terms of special effect wise. And number 8 is the most recent Star Wars movie, and that's Solo, A Star Wars Story. Now, it may be a better all-rounded movie compared to like The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, but Solo is really just okay to me. I wasn't really blown away when I saw it for the first time compared to the other Star Wars movies. However, I really liked how Solo actually touched on the canon of Star Wars, like the animated series and the novels. And it did a great job of expanding on the Star Wars universe. We got to see other planets and like other kind of like crimes are going on in the universe. And Eldon Ehrenreich as Han Solo and Donald Glover as Lando are just incredible. And the origins of Han Solo really paid off. Unfortunately, Solo is just really simple and predictable, and it does have some really sluggish pacing. Number 7 is Revenge of the Sith. For you guys who hate the prequels, I can understand, but Revenge of the Sith, I would defend that movie because I really love this movie, guys, because it had that scale of epicness compared to my weaker Star Wars movies. The vibe, the writing, the atmosphere was very dark and mature compared to like episode 1 and 2. It may not be perfect, there is some cheesy dialogue to it, but it has so many great moments like the opera house scene, the lightsaber battles at the end, the fall of the Jedi. There's not really a dull moment to Revenge of the Sith. And number 6 is the most decisive Star Wars movie, and that's The Last Jedi. Some people hate it, some people love it. And yeah, I'm one of those guys who love it, but I'm not scared to admit that it does have some problems that I really hate. However, I will say there are some stuff to the film that some people don't like, but to me, I kind of like the Canto Bight stuff. I thought it was beautiful and it really expanded on the Star Wars sequel trilogy nicely. I really liked how The Last Jedi differentiated itself from the other Star Wars movies by taking risks. We got to see this character study of this broken hero, Luke Skywalker, and the dynamic between Kylo Ren and Rey plays well throughout the film, and that scene when they fight the Red Guards it's just amazing to watch. But the problems that really drag this film down for me is that some of the character choices like DJ and Rose, some of the storylines don't quite add up, and every scene has to have comedy that really felt forced. And number 5 is The Force Awakens. I remember seeing this for the first time in IMAX and I cried like 3 times. Out of all the Star Wars movies, this is the most fun to watch. The new characters are well cast and really witty and charming and funny. They really worked well with the old cast. I know for argument's sake it does copy aspects from A New Hope. To me, I don't really have a problem with that because The Force Awakens is so enjoyable. And The Force Awakens to me is kind of like the love letter of Star Wars. And I cannot wait to see what J.J. Abrams does with episode 9. And number 4 is Return of the Jedi. Now my only gripe with this film is that it feels like you got 2 scripts merged into one. You have the Jabba Palace stuff and then you got the main storyline. Apart from that, this was an excellent closing for this trilogy. And the Jabba the Hutt subplot is a nice break and it allows us to dive deep into the Star Wars lore. I know a lot of people say like the Ewoks taking down the Empire is dumb. I completely disagree with that because you've got to look at it in a different perspective really, because you've got a reasonable sized faction of the Empire on Endor versus a whole planet-sized native hunters. It may be the weakest in the original trilogy, but still it was such a great payoff. You got Lando destroying the second Death Star, Darth Vader redeeming himself thanks to Luke Skywalker, Han and Leia are together. I could go on forever how much I love Return of the Jedi, and the victory celebration score to it at the end is so good to listen. And number 3 is Rogue One. Out of all the Star Wars movies, this was the best payoff for me. And my love keeps growing for Rogue One because I've read all the novels related to this. I know a lot of people say the characters are really bland. I don't have a problem with that because I read the novels, it gives you more substance for the characters. Director Krennic is just such a fascinating villain and it really did a great job of capturing the atmosphere of war. It's heartbreaking, it's dirty, it's horrific. This space battle is just incredible to watch, and the third act alone could be my favourite third act out of all the Star Wars movies. It was great to see Tarkin again, and Darth Vader is only in the film for like 10 minutes, but they handled him perfectly. And number 2 is the one that started it all, A New Hope. This became such a pop culture hit when this came out. The effects, the cinematography, the music was just so groundbreaking at the time. Skywalker gazing at the 2 sunsets with that iconic John Williams score, it's just so, it doesn't get any better than that. Everybody wishes they could be these characters and go on these adventures. A New Hope isn't just a great film, it's a magical experience. It gave us this universe. It gave you my favourite film character of all time, Darth Vader. My favourite Star Wars movie of all time, and yeah, it's no surprise, it's Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back to me isn't just the best Star Wars movie of all time, not just the best sequel of all time, it's my favourite movie of all time, period. My most fondest memory of this is that I went to the Secret Cinema in London a few years ago and we all got to dress up and act like we were in the Star Wars universe, and at the end we watched The Empire Strikes Back on the big screen. By having a bigger budget and having Evan Kushner to direct, production, special effects and acting was just top notch. Empire Strikes Back has so much deep, rich emotions to it and it's executed beautifully. And John Williams' score to this film is his best score that he's done in any film, period. Took everything that we love from A New Hope and just elevated on that, and also becoming more aggressive and darker, and it ended on such a great cliffhanger. Empire Strikes Back is my favourite Star Wars movie of all time. It's the best, period, and I would fight anyone who would be against that. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Go like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what are your favourite Star Wars movies. If you can make a list of weakest to best, please let me know, comment down below. But go check out my Facebook, my Twitter and my Instagram page. You guys are awesome. May the Force be with you.